Welcome to Traits with Trains. I hope you're enjoying your Monday. This is my HO layout at the time. I'll give you a tour of the room and the tracks I have. In this room I do have HONN. Now there is O scale, but I do not have that set up, and it doesn't really run that well. Right here in this scene right here, I have a kind of some maintenance going on with digging a hole and other stuff. And over here is the first track. These are my main lines right here. Now, I eventually do want to get this track connected to this, but at the moment, I like keeping this track like this because it makes it easier when I switch over to turn this track into DC. It's super simple. I'll show you how I did it. But right here is, this track is the start right here. If I move it's the start right here is kind of my storage of some of my coal cars, hoppers, and some tankers and some well cars. And it does meet up right here to the main. And you go further along, I do have a track switched out for storage of box cars and some of my coaches I have. But I'm also using it to store the big boy at the moment. Because right now, I don't have a track piece long enough to hold it in one piece. And anyone who has had a locomotive with wire and the tenders, you don't want to really disconnect them that much. So I'm trying to keep it together as much as I can. But right here I have a distribution center right here, and an intermediate for them from the rails to the trucks. And as you see, I have some semis, kind of come and go, heading to here. I got some Amtrak squad cars, kind of just chilling out and stuff, with the tow truck just sitting, hanging around. I have 3 buildings sitting on here. I don't know if Lionel made them at that time, and they bought the rights to build them now, but if you do check the website, the research into these buildings, I have found that Lionel currently makes these buildings right now. But right here, I kind of have a scene going on, a crime scene. I don't have an ambulance sitting there, but I have the fire chief kind of just leaving the scene, and I got some squad cars and a detective unit kind of sitting there in that green car. I'm using that area right here to kind of hold some of my excess cars I have. I don't have room to kind of take them off the table or put them on the track, well, unless I want them to get in the way of the main lines I have. But I kind of have a house with somebody just kind of coming home. I got a church right there. I got some semis kind of going to and heading from the distribution center. And as I have some Johnny Lightning right here. And right here is an Athearn along with that tow truck over there. Rapido does make these squad cars. And the fire chief's station wagon, one of the squad cars over there. But over here, this is a Matchbox Tesla. This really works really well because they're about the same size, matching with the 1/87 scale trucks. It just kind of feels like I want to put a bigger trailer on it, but other than that, it just seems just fine. Now, right now, both tracks are powered with an NC. I am not sponsored by them, but that is what powers my track at the time for DCC. Now, when I switched to DC, I do use the regular Kato box because I do have Kato track. Now, I used to actually have, when I had Bachmann on here, I had Bachmann HO track. When I got really serious, I switched out of the Bachmann to the Kato because I found it a lot easier to use and change things up, and I can switch without much hassle. And the favorite feature is, if you notice all those lines right there, they're all feeder tracks. They're all the feeder lines and stuff, and you actually take out the tabs out of this and you replace it with the feeder bits, and you connect it to the distribution and stuff, and they go in there. Now, to turn this track to DCC, I had to make sure every bit of these wires that go to the outer side do not go to the DC lines, and they all go to their own separate line. And I just take that one wire right here, you see that electrical black tape, and that's what I use to signify, and I'll feed it underneath these tracks and connect it right here. right here to the box. Now, over here, I have my N scale. I'm not really big in the N scale. I have family members who are bigger, so they had to have it. Now, if I really got into it at some point, I thought I'd be a really good investment to do. I kind of enjoy playing with the N scale, but I find it difficult when I derail. I do have an HO derailleur, and this N scale does help a lot, derailleur, but not really good for using it on Bachmann doesn't really help a whole lot. But with the N scale, what you see right here is one track all connected together. As you come along, you see the box that Kato F7 came in. I thought it'd be a good idea to buy like the Fast and Furious house. I figured it'd be a really good investment for the HO, but when I came in, I realized it was too small for the HO. And it kind of fits in the N scale a little bit better than the HO, so I just stuck it over here. As you go along, you'll see I kind of made some tunnels using leftover foam in the back of the Kato track boxes. And using these kind of helps a lot with hiding the train a lot, so it makes the layout look a whole lot bigger. I have another one right here. As you come along, here's the back of the HO layout. You'll see some of my well cars and can't see Southern covered hoppers and stuff. As you come along, you'll see my tunnel I have. And the best thing I like about it is the fact that it doesn't just hide it, but it's so long that it actually echoes the sound, so it actually sounds a little bit like it's coming through the tunnel. As you come along, you'll see the back of everything. And right here, I have a booster. Right here in the power bit. On this track. Okay. So as I was saying, on this track, I have everything. This track, this side right here has outlets on the side that I plug everything in, if you've noticed. And it all goes to this end right here. It connects to an outlet up there. So anytime I can disconnect the power to it, this whole table all together. Now, I'll take you to the other side. Okay, welcome back. Here's the other side of that table. And right now, because I had the conditions of having this layout in here is I had to use for storage, and some family members had to put speakers right there, and it kind of got in the way. So I just kind of go around the table around that way and come around. But right here, you'll see I bought some shelves and stuff to hold my cabooses. I have a coal car, a log flat car right here. It's by Bachmann. And some Athearn coal cars for Kansas City Power and Light. As you go along, you'll see some Kansas City Auto Track cars. They are scaled to a rivet counter. And right here are some coaches that go to the Crusader that I'll show you in a little bit. But as you go down, you'll see more cars. Oh, some Tinker cars, a coal car, some box and covered hoppers. And further down, you see more box cars of various sizes. And down here, I have 5 blue box Pullmans. And that silver one right there is a Rapido baggage storm that I just announced. And to cover a little bit right here is I have some Mike Trainhouse in a Southern Pacific paint scheme cars, some coaches and stuff, and I have some Atlas box cars and stuff. I like them a whole lot, but as you go along, I'll show you, maybe do a review on them and stuff, further down the line. But I kind of keep some of my tools I don't really need to put in my toolbox and stuff. Well, it's kind of give you an idea what I have. Some tape. Never know when you need tape. But I kind of keep some of my non-important information I have, or stuff I haven't had a chance to organize quite yet. So I just put it there, and I keep some couplers and extra accessories in there in this shelf. Paper towels and some handkerchiefs, because you always need paper towels to clean and do other stuff. And the handkerchiefs kind of keep trains wrapped up. I keep sheep protectors and some labelers just to help organize and stuff. And right here I keep some binders to keep stuff organized. I have organized along with my carrying case to help transport trains safely. And I have a paint booth that eventually I hope to get some paint stuff to do some painting and stuff of. But over here is, I use my workbench right here. I kind of keep stuff stored right here, extra stuff, some track. And the best part is if you ever notice how Kato track is, these tabs, the whole thing just slides out. And you can slide it right back in and store it in. But I keep this, I keep a handkerchief to kind of help keep stuff from sticking to this foam. Because your details and stuff will grab this foam right here. And you don't want that to happen because when you take it out, it'll rip all those accessories. And I kind of keep some of the wrapping foam and stuff, like the sealing stuff you see on the locomotives. And that helps keep it some extra catchy stuff from sticking to the handkerchief, preventing less stick to that. So less rips. Magnet trays are very useful because when you have some couplers or screws, you put these in here. I kind of have a shelf with 164. As you see, I kind of keep my trains in these cabinets. Now, the center one is mine, but it stores some of my family members' trains that kind of just keep it here for the time being. But I kind of try to keep mine organized from who produces which road name. So I have the top, I'll have Burlington Northern, I'll have Union Pacific down below. And that silver steam train is the starter set, the Overland pack. I love the train, but it doesn't like my layout that much. Because my layout isn't flat, it doesn't really stick that well. But I have a DD40 along with a 9. As you further up, you see a lot of SD70 Aces. I have Ventura sitting in the front along with some centipedes. In the back, you'll see I have a super turbine. Here's the second cabinet and stuff. You see some steam engines and some Dash 9s and ES44s. And that Canadian Pacific is a AC70 ACU lesson right there. A little bit further up, you'll see all the in-scale trains that there is. I don't have a whole lot in in-scale, but I do have some. And if you can see that one, that middle steam, that is probably the only sound locomotive that we have here. Besides that DD40, but I haven't heard any sound from it. As I go down, you see the Crusader sitting right there. An SD40-2, and down below is another SD-42, along with a Missouri Pacific train, a Jupiter, and another UP edition, and the Missouri Pacific Heritage Unit, and that's an SD70 Ace. I have an E8 right there, and right there's a SD F45 right there, and then there's a Dash 9. And back over here, I will be doing a more detailed tour of and describe each one right here, so you don't have to look, but this just kind of gives you an idea what I have. I have Kansas Southern sitting at the top. As you go down, I have some Santa Fe, and I do have a BNSF sitting right there, along with the Catachrome. And I love the look of these, though. They're very unique and really cool looking. I have my Blue Goose. These are just some. I have some Elcos. As you go down, I have Amtrak sitting kind of on the side with Southern Pacific sitting in the back. And I have a Bachmann Prairie unit. And that's a 060 in a Southern paint scheme. At the very bottom, I have the trains that I grew up with. They're all DC. They're not DC ready at all. And I have a Dash 9, a lot of some F7s. I have a P42, some Burlington Northern. I'm assuming they're not, don't hold it against me, but a SD45 and a SD40-2. Assuming that Southern Pacific, when it focuses in, is a SD, maybe a GP38. Don't hold it against me. I'm not quite sure. It doesn't. The boxes have been so old that there was no boxes to them anymore. Now, right here was a light that was left on, not by me, but somebody who was helping me. The thing produced so much heat that it put that hole over there. So I put that scene right there to kind of hold it in. But kind of the one the deal is, the slit had to be held so high. I probably will help give people ideas of what you can do about layouts and stuff. Now, when I feel like a significant change has happened, I might do another update, but most likely it'll be another year from now. You'll probably see just a whole lot more vehicles, maybe some houses and stuff. I highly recommend people kind of get creative when they come to buying, like with that Matchbox. It's kind of hard to find semis for cheap and stuff, so kind of you can get in difference. Not a whole lot of manufacturers you have in the 1/87 scale. And with a price point, this was probably one of the more expensive, but it was more the unique. I'm a little stuffed up, sorry about that. But if you enjoyed this video, like, subscribe, and comment, and share. By doing that, you help me know that you enjoy my content and stuff, and it helps me expand and reach to other followers and stuff. And hopefully you'll hear from me again. Enjoy the rest of your Monday.